Do you have a hurricane preparedness list? By the end of this video, you will. Hello everybody and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa and we are all about pantry preparedness. And sometimes a little bit of extra preparedness tucked in there for giggles because it's life and you never know what life is going to throw at us. I am working on the zucchinis today. I had this one that showed up like literally overnight. And then I went out there this morning and I had 4 more that weren't there yesterday. I don't get it. It's like zucchini magic. It's crazy. So I figured we would multitask again. Ow, as I drop a zucchini on my foot. Yes. Okay. And we will, talk about hurricanes. I guess we'll chop this one first. Okay, so first let's talk about emergency alerts and communication, okay? Because during all of this chaos, this is something you want to be aware of. I know for me in Michigan here, hurricanes are not really a thing. My sister lives in North Carolina, and for the most part, she blatantly ignores them. It's mind-boggling to me, but just the same. So emergency alerts and communication, ready, set, go. So what do you want to do in that case, right? You want to dig out your NOAA radio. It's a NOAA radio. It is your cell phone with alerts enabled. It is battery backups, portable chargers for all of the above, right? And a family communication plan. You don't have a family communication plan? Put together a family communication plan. Get everybody together and say, okay, if we are all separated, this is where we're going to meet, or this is how we're going to communicate. Or like the old call tree. What did they call it? Anyway, where I'll call Jim and Jim will call Sally and Sally will call Bob and Bob will call Frank and, and the phone tree thing. That's what it was. And set that up too, because not everybody may be able to get hold of everybody else, So you want to make sure that all of your communications, both news in and news out, are ready, set, charged with backup charged batteries available. Hurricanes can change track, very quickly, or strength very quickly. And power and phone services may go down because that's just the nature of the beast. And so you want to make sure that you have those communication tools and plans set up, because they're going to be super important to make sure that everybody is safe. Let's say you lose power overnight in a Category 3 storm, okay? And your NOAA radio still gives you evacuation updates and flood warnings, because that's what it does, because it's cool that way. So you want to make sure that you're completely set up. Now, next is an evacuation plan. I swear my sister would rather cut off a body part than evacuate, but pre-planned evacuation routes. Know them. Find out what they are if you don't know them, okay? Printed maps and a go bag with essential items. You should already have that go bag put together, my friends. Come on. It's not that hard. You're going to put in there everything that you may need for 3 days. That is hygiene, that is medications, that is clothing, that is water, that is sustenance. Not 4-course meals, sustenance, okay? You want to make sure that you have all of the stuff in your go bag. And it's not that hard to do. It doesn't take that long. So why haven't you done it yet? Now with that, roads may be impassable or congested, and you may literally only have hours to leave. So having all of this figured out ahead of time, way important, way important. Let's say your local officials issue a mandate saying mandatory evacuation. You got to go. Mandatory. Are you hearing me, sis? Are you? As the hurricane strengthens from a Cat 2 to a Cat 4 in under 12 hours. Can you respond adequately? Can you respond appropriately? I get it. You've lived through them for 20 plus years and you've never had an issue. Neither did the folks with Katrina. Now let's talk about water, because water is important. Water is very, very important. And you need to make sure that you have water. At least 2 gallons per day per person. That's a lot of water. Okay, so minimum 1 gallon, okay? But that won't be enough for everything. That's strictly consumption. That is strictly consumption. That is not bathing. That is not cooking. That is not any of that other fun stuff that you do with water, okay? So that's why I'm saying 2 gallons per day. And don't forget about the pets. Don't forget about the pets. And the reason you want to do this, well, I have municipal water. Yeah, but we're talking hurricanes, okay? The municipal water may be shut off because what's coming through your pipes because of the backflow from the storm is brown, muck, gross. And you don't want to drink that. And you don't even want to risk a boiled water on that one, right? So don't. After landfall, your tap water can very easily turn brown. And the officials will call for a boil water mandate. Number one, you want to be aware when they do that, because they don't do that lightly. And you want to be able to have the water that you need should they do that. If you're on a well or something like that, then hopefully, you've got it set up for filtration, but who's to say all that's going to work properly either after something like a hurricane, or if your power goes out, because my water softener requires electricity. Kind of cool the way that works, right? So you want to make sure that you have enough water stored, especially if you are staying put. Very important. So that's number 3 on your list, okay? Number 4, food supply. Yeah. Now, when you're just starting out, then you're going to want to look at a 3 to 7 day food supply, okay? And I'm not talking about a bug out situation. If you have to leave, if you're mandated to leave, you want no less than 3 days worth of food for you and the critters, ready to go. Ready to go. So that's fine. But let's say you're able to stay home. It's just a really, really bad storm that has impacted a whole bunch of stuff. And so you need to be able to have food for 3 to 7 days, non-perishable food, canned goods, ready-to-eat meals, all of that fun stuff, okay? And the grocery stores, this is why we were prepared. Number 1 is because the grocery stores, they're going to be closed. Their shelves are going to be empty for days or weeks, depending on how bad the storm is. And so saying that, you'll just go to the store is foolish and very poor planning on your part. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have that set. And if you live in hurricane areas, I don't know why that's not the case already, but, it bears repeating. Have 3 to 7 days worth of non-perishable food ready, just in case. Post-storm flooding events prevents food deliveries, okay? And your pantry is your only source of meals. Pantry preparedness is at the root of all preparedness. Literally, all of it. Okay, we got number 5. And number 5 is your medications and your medical supplies. So depending on, you and your health and your conditions and your age and everything else, you're going to want to make sure that you have your medications and medical supplies. Always, regardless of who or how old you are or anything else, make sure that you have a first aid kit and basic over-the-counter medication. You don't have to have bottles of 100 pills or, a gallon jug of NyQuil or whatever. You just have to have some. So if you're looking at packing a bag, look at flipping through the drugstore or Walmart or something and getting those travel size, Those are helpful, yes, and that way you're not spending all of that money. And you have the bare necessities for 3 to 7 days, yes. That's our goal here. Okay, zucchini forever. Pharmacies may be closed or unable to fill prescriptions for days because they rely on that, even worse than the grocery stores, they rely on that daily delivery of medication. They don't stock a lot of stuff, okay? So you want to make sure that you have what you need, especially if you know that a storm is coming. You want to make sure that you have what you need, okay? Very, very important. If you run out of blood pressure medication, you know, 3 days after landfall, but can't get to an open pharmacy, can't find an open pharmacy, that's going to impact your blood pressure, among other things already impacting it. So pay attention. Number 6, power and lighting, because I have the power and hopefully the light. Flashlights, headlamps. I love those headlamps. LED lanterns, extra batteries, solar chargers, or a generator if possible, okay? Hurricanes often cause extended blackouts because everything's down, you know? So, yeah, the power's going to be down. Let's pay attention here. So, your area loses power for 5 days after a major storm, right? That's not uncommon at all. And so, your battery-powered lanterns become the only safe light source that you have, other than the sun, and that goes down every night. So you want to make sure that you have lighting covered. Yes, when I lose power, I think it's a really great excuse to go take a nap, but you know, that may not be an option when you're dealing with the aftermath of something like a hurricane. So you want to make sure that you have the light. Now, in addition to the light, you want to make sure that you have the fuel, because fuel is important. Fuel your gas tanks in your vehicles. Keep them on full. I mean, if they get to half, make it a point to go fill them. If they get to 3/4 and you know a storm's coming, go fill them. If you only have to pump 3 gallons in it before a storm, do it. Make sure that they're full, okay? Gas stations may be closed because they don't have power or because they can't get gas in to fill their tanks, and so there's no supply. It's not good. It's not good at all. You need to evacuate, say, and I mean, an example of why you might need gas is if you need to evacuate. But the stations all along the entire route are closed or without gas. How far do you think you're going to get if you've only got a 1/4 tank of gas or less? That's a very important prep, even if you're planning not to evacuate. Shelter and safety items. So important, you guys, because I'm not talking about like, you know, having, taking a shelter with you. I'm talking about protecting your shelter, you know. So you may need plastic sheeting, duct tape, good heavy tarps, right? Sandbags, sturdy work gloves. I'm telling you, okay, I am in the dirt and so much other stuff right now. I have the hands of mechanics. I can't seem to get the stains away, and my cuticles are all tore up, and it's driving me nuts. I want to sit in bleach water. I'm not going to do it, don't worry. But work gloves, yeah, if you got them, use them. If you don't have them, get some. High wind, okay, for a perfect example, can shear off your shingles. They can tear them off. And if your roof is wide open, you know, that's going to be a problem, yeah. And so that's why a lot of that stuff comes in handy. And the gloves just protect your hands while you're taking care of all of that. Because the last thing that you need is some kind of wonky cut while you're trying to take care of all that, you know. So definitely you want to make sure that you've got safety items and stuff to repair your shelter as you move forward. Now we get to the important documents. Okay. Do you have your emergency binder done? Do you have your emergency binder done? Okay, so important documents. You need a waterproof pouch for all of your IDs, okay? Insurance policies, medical records, and banking information. Why? Because recovery often requires proof of identity and coverage. It does. It's just one of those things, you know? So when your home sustains damage and you need your homeowner's policy to start a claim, it's good to not have to rely on getting on the internet, or good to not have your, insurance agent have to get on the internet. You've got the information here. Here's my information. Start it. I don't care if you have to peddle it there. Start it, So it's good to have all of that documentation in one place in your emergency binder and to have that with you. Number 10, cash is king or queen. Okay, so cash. Small bills and coins. Nobody wants a Ben Franklin. Well, I'll take all the Ben Franklins you want to send me, but for the most part, nobody wants a Ben Franklin during an emergency. Nobody's going to make change for you, you know? Don't expect it. So ATMs and card readers are probably going to be offline, just like everything else, right? So make sure you've got some cash, because that's going to be important if you do need to get anything. You may need to buy gas from a small station running on a generator, cash only. You know, it's happened. So you want to make sure that that's something that you can handle. Number 11 is clothing. Yeah, clothing and bedding. Because, don't drop any more zucchini. Clothing and bedding. You want to look at sturdy shoes, not your flip-flops. Okay, sturdy shoes, rain gear, warm layers, because it gets a little chilly sometimes, right? Extra blankets and sleeping bags, very important. It doesn't have to be a subarctic $400 sleeping bag. It just needs to be a sleeping bag or some blankets, okay? Just something to protect you from the elements a little bit. That's something you want to pay attention to. You may need to stay in a shelter. Or sleep without heat or air conditioning, okay? So you want to be able to accommodate those factors. Evacuation shelters at night can be cold, and blankets are very limited. So you want to make sure that you got yourself covered, literally. Personal hygiene and sanitation. Okay, wet wipes, hand sanitizers, right? Soap, feminine products, and garbage bags. You know, I'm a huge fan of construction trash bags, right? Cleanliness is crucial to prevent illness. And when all systems are down, this is important because they are typically disrupted due to the storm. So if the water service is out for 5 days, wipes and sanitizer may help you prevent getting any kind of stomach illness or worse. Pet preparedness. Nothing ticks me off more than people who leave their animals to fend for themselves during a major storm like that. Those people all deserve serious hives in the nether regions, okay? What do you need? Very simple. They need their own go bag. So they need food, they need water, they need a carrier, they need a leash, they need your vaccination records. Get a copy of them. It's not that hard to get, okay? Many shelters, if they do allow pets, require proof of vaccination and won't provide pet supplies. So if you got a cat, kitty litter. Yeah, literally. When you evacuate to a pet-friendly shelter, but they require shot records before you walk in the door, you better make sure you got them. It's not hard to have. Just put them in the pet's go bag. Entertainment and comfort. Maybe not for you. Like, I'm not so much concerned about being entertained. I am pretty self-amusing, you know, but books, cards, games, comfort snacks, because we should all eat our feelings just a little bit more. But, you know, if you've got kids, very helpful. Yeah. Storms can mean days, literally days of downtime and stress. And your mental health really matters. And that's when it's going to be tested the most. So if you are not super self-amusing like I am, you know, it's good to have a few things to do. The power's out for a week. What are the kids going to do? What are you going to do with your time? There's got to be something. Now let's talk about after the storm, okay? Post-storm recovery gear. It's not enough you got to get through it. You have to get past it too. So what do you need after the storm? You probably might need a chainsaw. You never know. Even if it's one of those battery-operated ones, which I adore, okay? You don't need a great big Hulk and Paul Bunyan chainsaw. Sometimes you just need that handheld one. I know Ryobi's got one. It's under $200. I love that thing. Gloves, a respirator mask, safety goggles, boots. Please put the flip-flops away. Put some good shoes on, okay? Why? Is because you're clearing debris. On your way home, to get home, to leave home, you may have to clear that debris. If something fell through the top of your roof, God forbid, you may have to start clearing some of that debris to get the tarp up there, you know? You may have to clear a tree or brush in order to exit your driveway or get into your driveway. These things are all super important. So if you return home to a blocked driveway due to downed trees, you're going to wish you had that chainsaw. You really are. And the gloves, and the respirator, and the goggles, and get rid of the flip-flops. Put some boots on. You can wear the flip-flops the rest of the year, just not during a storm. I hope that this was helpful. And so what I'm going to ask for is, for any of you hurricane veterans, what are some other tips and tricks that you can give to those people who are new to hurricane season? Throw it in the comment section down below. If you want to see how to make your document binder, check out this video right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.